want to just kind of dive in. First of all, let's talk about student fees. Let's start there.
Okay.
Students are facing another increase in fees. They will be phased in, and that started with this year's fall semester, so fall of 2025. Many say they're already stretched to the limit, many students. Why should students trust that these additional costs are necessary and that the university is using their money responsibly?
Well, because they supported them. That might be the first reason. So I think a lot of people don't understand the process that we go through
explain that.
when fees are
Sure.
increased, and I think that's directly relevant to this.
Sure.
So we have what's called an alternative consultation process that we go through that's part of our system policy. So anytime—
And this is the CSU system?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you for clarifying. For the CSU system,
okay,
there's very clear guidelines in terms of how we have to engage students in that process, how we have to consult with them, and then there's actually advisory groups that this goes to for them to make a formal recommendation to me. So,
okay, so let's stop there. So the advisory groups, who are on those groups? Is it students? Is it faculty? Who are these people who are ultimately coming up with the information to then advise and then give to you?
So it's called the Student Fee Advisory Committee.
Okay.
The Student Fee Advisory Committee is comprised of student leaders on campus and some of our faculty leaders. It's overwhelmingly students. And what we did was we first did town halls, focus groups, surveys that lasted for months on end, and then we had a call from the community to provide more opportunities, and we extended the deadline for that consultation for another 2 weeks. We had more students participate in that alternative consultation than I've seen in my experience, and I've been in higher ed for a long time now.
And so these conversations that you're talking about happened before this advisory group made their recommendations?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. So students, they come into a room and say, here are the fees that we think are needed based upon what we're hearing from the campus community. And I should also say, every fee that was proposed were fees that were being responsive to concerns that were brought to us. So we get lots, for example, of lists of demands from students, right? And routinely receive lists of demands saying we need to do more to support our cultural centers on campus, and that they need more resources. And so that was actually one of the fees that was part of this. We need to have more internships on campus, and that was one of the fees that was part of this. So there was 5 of them that were part of that process, and they all went through that same extensive process with students. The rooms were packed full, and then it went to the Student Fee Advisory Committee, and all but one fee was supported, and the one fee that was not supported by the committee we did not move forward with.
And that was if I'm not mistaken, like a $500 fee for non-resident?
Yes.
A non-resident fee?
Yeah, it was a non-resident fee that didn't go through. One I would say that has been a lot of the topic of conversation is the athletic facilities fee. Mm-hmm. That fee was recommended by the committee unanimously. Mm-hmm. So it went through all those proper processes. And then, yes, it's phased in over time, but that's intentional because we want to be able to make sure that we're planning accordingly as an institution, that we can actually provide them with the value that those fees are supposed to provide. And if you think about it, most people don't understand the complexity of a university budget. So we have general fund dollars that come from our system, the California State University system, that is coming from the state of California, right? So we have those. We have tuition and fee dollars that are set by our system, and then we have local fees, and then we have lottery funds. There's a few other buckets of money, but what most people don't understand is you can't take a fee that's went through a process like this and then use those dollars for something else. It'd be like a bait and switch, right? You can't say, hey, we heard that you want internships, so now we're going to charge you a fee that's going to create more opportunities for those internships on campus, and then take that money and then use it for something else, right? So it's regularly and annually audited by our system. We have a lot of protocols and processes around that. So the investments that we're doing in athletic facilities are investments that are from those dollars that can't be spent any other way. And so I think that happens at a time when, of course, we have a reduction in state support. And the reduction in state support is simple. The state of California would love to give us more money. They just don't have it to give to us. And so if they reduce our budget, we have to reduce our operations, and 99% of what we do as a university is classes, and so that impacts that.
I want to stick with the fees and talk more about those fees. Is there a way for students to say, opt out of paying the fees, or is it a requirement?
The fees are a requirement. They go through a process. Now, we do have fees that you can opt out of. They're not these ones. So there's actually 6 categories of fees. And so the category that we're talking about, the mandatory fees, is just one of the 6 categories.
What do you say to students, though, who are still concerned about the bottom line, which I think is ultimately what it boils down to for students and their families when they look, at the big picture of whether it's the tuition, which we'll also get into a new on-campus requirement, right? And then you look at fees and they're saying the cost is going up, period, for me. How do you address those concerns as a president where you're trying to get more students to come, where you want current students to come back, right? How do you address that and still raise fees and have these other requirements happening at the same time?
Yes, so before you even get to the point of going to those town halls, and which again comes before it even goes to the committee, you do what's called a sensitivity analysis. So what we do is we look at how many of our students, what percentage would be impacted by the fee in that, in comparison to their take-home dollars and in comparison to what they're getting from student aid.
How they would be impacted financially from the fee?
Correct.
Okay.
So what we did is we established our price point for the fees based upon the fact that it would have a limited impact on the vast majority of our low-income students. So for our low-income students, it should be covered within their student aid. So that's intentional. So for example, I believe we had about $1,000, which was our cap, and we did much lower than that intentionally so that we would be thoughtful about those students.